Echoes from the void. The deep space scanner aboard the Galactic Trade Union vessel Harmony's Edge had been pinging steadily for 3 hours. Captain Vextari studied the readings with growing confusion, his scaled fingers tapping against the command console. The energy signatures coming from the third planet of the Proxima Centauri system made no sense according to their databases. Ambassador Krynos, he called to the diplomatic liaison standing nearby. These readings suggest massive industrial activity, but our records show this system was abandoned by humans over 150 years ago. The tall, blue-skinned Krynos moved closer, her 4 eyes focusing on the display. Perhaps it's some kind of automated mining operation left behind. Humans were known for their resourcefulness, even if their technology was primitive. Captain Vextari nodded, though something felt wrong. The energy patterns were too organized, too sophisticated for abandoned machinery. His ship was part of a routine survey mission, mapping systems on the outer edge of known space for potential colonization. The Proxima Centauri system had been marked as empty since the humans supposedly evacuated it during their species' great exodus from failing colony worlds. "Take us into the system," he ordered, "but maintain defensive protocols. Something about this doesn't match our intelligence reports." As the Harmony's Edge dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the system's edge, the crew immediately knew they had stumbled upon something extraordinary. The third planet, which their charts labeled as a barren rock, showed clear signs of terraforming. Clouds swirled around continents where green vegetation was clearly visible. Even more shocking, orbital platforms surrounded the world like a ring of metal and crystal. "Captain," his sensor operator called out, "I'm detecting over 50 artificial structures in orbit, and the planet's surface shows massive population centers. This world isn't abandoned at all." Before Captain Vextari could respond, his communications officer straightened in alarm. "Sir, we're being hailed. The signal is coming from everywhere. Every orbital platform, the planet's surface, even what appear to be cloaked ships positioning around us." "On screen," the captain ordered, his confidence wavering for the first time in his 20-year career. The face that appeared on the main display was undeniably human. A woman with dark skin and intelligent brown eyes looked directly at him. She wore a uniform of deep blue that seemed to shift and shimmer with embedded technology. Her expression was calm but carried an unmistakable authority. "I am Commander Zara Blackwood of the Proxima Republic," she said in perfect galactic standard. "You have entered our territorial space without permission. State your intentions." Captain Vextari exchanged glances with Ambassador Krynos. According to every database in the galaxy, humans were barely capable of interstellar travel. Their colonies had failed repeatedly, and their technology was centuries behind the major galactic powers. "I am Captain Vextari of the Galactic Trade Union survey vessel Harmony's Edge," he replied, trying to maintain diplomatic protocol. "Our records indicate this system is uninhabited. We're conducting a routine survey for potential colonization rights." The human woman's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes that made the captain uncomfortable. "Your records are incorrect, Captain. This system has been continuously inhabited by humans for 150 years. We are a sovereign nation and do not recognize any external claims to our territory." Ambassador Krynos stepped forward. "Commander Blackwood, with respect, humanity is not listed as having any significant colony worlds outside your home system. The Galactic Trade Union has jurisdiction over unclaimed territories." For the first time, Commander Blackwood smiled, and it was not a reassuring expression. "Perhaps it's time the galaxy updated its information about humanity. Dr. Chen, please join us." Another face appeared on the screen alongside the commander. This was an elderly human man with gray hair and eyes that sparkled with fierce intelligence. "Captain Vextari," he said, "I am Dr. James Chen, Chief Science Officer of the Proxima Republic. I think there are some things about human capabilities that might surprise you." The elderly scientist gestured, and the view changed to show the orbital platforms around the planet. What had looked like simple space stations suddenly revealed their true nature. Each platform was massive, easily the size of small cities. and they pulsed with energy patterns that made the Harmony's Edge's sensors struggle to interpret the data. These platforms house our quantum-fold manufacturing systems, Dr. Chen explained. They can reorganize matter at the subatomic level, allowing us to create materials and technologies that don't exist anywhere else in the galaxy. Each platform has the industrial capacity of an entire world. Captain Vextari stared at the readings his sensors were providing. The energy output of just one of those platforms exceeded anything in his experience. "This is impossible," he muttered. "Human technology isn't advanced enough for quantum fold manipulation." Dr. Chen chuckled. "Captain, humanity has spent the last 150 years in isolation, free from the bureaucracy and limitations of galactic politics. When survival depends on innovation, humans tend to exceed expectations. Would you like a demonstration?" Before the captain could respond, space around his ship suddenly filled with vessels that hadn't been there moments before. Sleek ships that seemed to be made of liquid metal materialized from nowhere, their hulls reflecting light in ways that hurt to look at directly. "Cloaking technology?" Ambassador Krenos asked weakly. "Phase shifting," Commander Blackwood corrected. "Our ships can exist slightly outside normal space-time, allowing them to move undetected until needed. It's one of many technologies we've developed during our isolation." Captain Vextari looked at his tactical officer, who was shaking his head in disbelief. "Sir, these ships don't register on any of our sensor arrays, even when they're visible. Their energy signatures are completely unlike anything in our databases." "How many people live here?" Ambassador Krenos asked, her diplomatic training taking over despite her shock. "The Proxima Republic has a current population of approximately 500 million humans spread across this system," Commander Blackwood replied. "We have colonies on 6 planets and moons, all connected by our quantum-fold transportation network. We've built a completely sustainable civilization here." The numbers were staggering. The entire human presence in known galactic space was estimated at less than 50 million people scattered across failing colony worlds. This single system contained 10 times that number, and they had clearly developed far beyond anything the galaxy expected. Dr. Chen's image leaned forward. "Captain, I understand this is a shock, but humanity has never stopped being innovative. When Earth became uninhabitable and our early colonies failed, most humans gave up and accepted dependency on galactic charity. But some of us came here to a system so remote that no one would bother us, and we built something new. Your quantum-fold technology," Ambassador Krenos said slowly. "It would revolutionize galactic civilization. The applications for manufacturing, transportation, energy production." "Yes," Commander Blackwood agreed, "which is why we kept it secret. Humanity learned long ago that showing our innovations too early leads to them being taken from us. We preferred to perfect our technology and build our strength before revealing ourselves." Captain Vextari was beginning to understand the magnitude of what they had discovered. "You've been preparing for this day, when someone would eventually find you." "Every day for 150 years, the commander confirmed. "We knew isolation couldn't last forever, but we wanted to ensure that when we rejoined galactic civilization, it would be as equals, not as dependents." The captain looked around his bridge at his crew, seeing the same mixture of awe and concern on their faces. Everything they thought they knew about humanity was wrong. These weren't the struggling refugees the galaxy remembered. This was a civilization that had not only survived in isolation, but had thrived and advanced beyond anything thought possible. "Commander Blackwood," he said finally, "I need to report this discovery to the Galactic Trade Union immediately. The existence of your republic changes everything." "Of course, Captain," she replied, "but I should warn you that the Galactic Trade Union's response will determine the future relationship between our peoples. We are no longer the weak, dependent humans your records describe. We are the Proxima Republic, and we will not be dictated to or controlled." As Captain Vextari prepared to send his report, he realized that the galaxy was about to learn a hard lesson about underestimating humanity. The quiet system they had discovered wasn't just a hidden colony. It was proof that humans, given freedom and necessity, could build wonders that surpassed anything the established powers had achieved. The age of human dependence was over. The question now was whether the galaxy was ready for humanity to take its place as an equal power, or whether the old empires would try to suppress this new threat to their dominance. Either way, Captain Vextari knew that nothing would ever be the same. Rise of the new power, 3 weeks after the discovery of the Prox. I'm a Republic, the largest fleet ever assembled by the Galactic Trade Union, hung in space at the edge of the system. 50 warships representing 12 different species had come to deliver the Union's response to humanity's Declaration of Independence. Admiral Thekmor, a massive insectoid being with compound eyes that could track multiple targets simultaneously, commanded the fleet from his flagship Galactic Dominion. "Open a channel to the human leadership," he ordered, his mandibles clicking with authority. "It's time to end this charade." Commander Zara Blackwood appeared on the screen, looking exactly as composed as she had 3 weeks earlier. Behind her, the same elderly scientist, Dr. Chen, stood with several other humans Admiral Thekmor didn't recognize. "Admiral," Commander Blackwood said politely, "welcome to the Proxima system. I assume you're here to deliver the trade union's decision regarding our sovereignty." "Indeed," Admiral Thekmor replied, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. "The Galactic Trade Union has reviewed your claims and has decided to offer humanity junior membership status. You will be granted limited self-governance under Union oversight, and your advanced technologies will be shared for the benefit of all galactic civilization." Dr. Chen stepped forward. "And if we refuse this generous offer?" Admiral Thekmor's compound eyes focused on the elderly human. "Then this system will be placed under trade union protection until a more compliant government can be established. Your people will be relocated to designated worlds where they can be properly supervised." Commander Blackwood was quiet for a long moment, and Admiral Thekmor felt a flicker of satisfaction. Humans had always been reasonable when faced with overwhelming force. They would accept the terms and submit to proper galactic authority. "Dr. Chen, Commander B," Blackwood said finally, "I think it's time for our visitors to understand exactly what they're dealing with. Activate the Titan Protocol." The elderly scientist smiled and nodded. "With pleasure, Commander. All stations, this is Dr. Chen. Initiate full system reveal in 3, 2, 1. Space around the trade union fleet suddenly exploded with activity. What had appeared to be empty space filled with hundreds of ships that materialized from nothing. But these weren't the sleek vessels Captain Vextari had seen 3 weeks earlier. These were massive dreadnoughts, each one larger than Admiral Thekmor's flagship, and they moved with impossible grace and speed. "Admiral," his sensor officer called out in panic, "I'm counting over 300 capital ships and they're still appearing. Our scanners can't get accurate readings on their capabilities." But the ships were only the beginning. The planets and moons throughout the system began to glow as hidden installations revealed themselves. Massive orbital weapons platforms that dwarfed anything in the trade union arsenal powered up, their energy signatures making the fleet's sensors scream warnings. Dr. Chen's voice came through the communication system with scientific calm. "What you're seeing, Admiral, is the result of 150 years of focused human engineering. Each of our ships is built using quantum-fold technology that allows us to compress enormous amounts of matter and energy into relatively small spaces. A single human dreadnought has more firepower than your entire fleet." Admiral Thekmor stared at his tactical displays in disbelief. The numbers his computers were showing him had to be wrong. No single system could contain this level of military power. It would take the combined fleets of a dozen major civilizations to match what he was seeing. "Impossible," he said. "No species could develop this level of technology in isolation." Commander Blackwood reappeared on the screen. "Admiral, that's the mistake everyone makes about humanity. You assume we're limited by the same thinking that restricts other species. When humans are faced with extinction, we don't just adapt, we evolve." A new voice joined the conversation. "Admiral Thekmor, I am Captain Sarah Martinez, commanding the dreadnought Human Spirit. Our long-range sensors indicate your ships are carrying enough firepower to glass a planet's surface. We consider that a hostile act." The Admiral's tactical officer looked up from his console. "Sir, one of their ships is moving toward us. It's the size of a small moon." On the main screen, a human vessel approached that defied everything Admiral Thekmore thought he knew about starship construction. The ship was a perfect sphere over 20 kilometers in diameter, its surface covered in geometric patterns that seemed to shift and flow like living metal. Captain Martinez's voice continued. "This is our command ship, Titan's Dream. It was built using technology your scientists would consider impossible. The entire vessel exists in a state of controlled quantum flux, allowing it to manipulate space-time around itself. Would you like a demonstration?" Before Admiral Thekmore could respond, the massive sphere simply vanished. His sensors showed nothing, as if the ship had never existed. Then, impossibly, it reappeared directly between his flagship and the rest of his fleet. "How did they move through our formation without triggering any sensors?" his navigation officer asked in a shaking voice. Dr. Chen answered from the communication channel. "We don't move through space, Admiral. We move space around us. It's one of the applications of quantum fold technology that makes human ships effectively impossible to track or intercept." Commander Blackwood stepped forward again. "Admiral Thekmore, I want to make something clear. The Proxima Republic has no desire for conflict with the Galactic Trade Union. We simply want to be left alone to govern ourselves as we see fit. But," Captain Martinez added, "if the trade union insists on treating us as a client species to be controlled and exploited, we will defend ourselves. And Admiral, you should understand that human defensive capabilities are just as advanced as everything else you've seen today." As if to prove the point, energy barriers suddenly appeared around every trade union ship. The barriers weren't weapons, but they completely isolated each vessel from the others, making communication and coordination impossible. "This is just a demonstration," Dr. Chen explained. "Our quantum field generators can create barriers that are impermeable to both matter and energy. Your ships could fire their weapons for 1,000 years and never break through, but the barriers also prevent you from harming anyone, including yourselves." Admiral Thekmore realized that his entire fleet was now completely helpless. The humans had neutralized 50 warships without firing a single shot. The tactical implications were staggering. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice heavy with defeat. "Recognition," Commander Blackwood replied. "The Proxima Republic wants to be acknowledged as a sovereign nation with full rights under galactic law. We're willing to trade with other civilizations as equals, share some of our non-military technologies, and participate in galactic politics as an independent power. And if we refuse?" Captain Martinez answered this time. "Then the trade union will learn that humanity has the capability to defend itself against any threat. We would prefer peace, Admiral, but we will not accept subjugation." The energy barriers around the trade union fleet suddenly disappeared, and Admiral Thekmore's ships were free to move again. But the lesson was clear. The humans could have destroyed them all effortlessly, but had chosen to demonstrate their power without causing harm. "I will need to consult with the Trade Union Council," Admiral Thekmore said finally. "Of course," Commander Blackwood agreed. "But Admiral, please make sure the Council understands that humanity has changed. We are no longer the desperate refugees who begged for help and accepted whatever scraps were offered. We are the Proxima Republic, and we have earned our place among the stars." As the trade union fleet prepared to leave the system, Admiral Thekmore looked at the readings from their encounter one more time. The humans had revealed technology that could revolutionize galactic civilization, military capabilities that could challenge any existing power, and most importantly, a confidence that came from knowing they could back up their words with action. The galaxy had spent centuries viewing humanity as weak and dependent. That era was over. The Proxima Republic had announced itself as a new major power, and the established order would have to adapt to this reality. Within 6 months, the Galactic Trade Union officially recognized the Proxima Republic as a sovereign nation. Trade agreements were signed, diplomatic relations established, and humanity took its place as an equal member of galactic civilization. The age of human weakness was over. The age of human strength had begun. And throughout the galaxy, other civilizations began to wonder what other surprises humanity might have hidden among the stars, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. The humans of Proxima had proven that when pushed to the edge, humanity didn't just survive. They thrived, they innovated, and they emerged stronger than anyone thought possible. It was a lesson the galaxy would not soon forget.